Today, our spotlight shines on the brand new leader of one of the Divine Nine organizations working for social change and to continue to uplift their brothers and sisters in the African American community. Chris Ray was elected the 36th International President of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated at the 2021 International Conclave in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and he joins us today to talk about more about his goals and initiatives in the fraternity. Chris, what a pleasure. So nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Welcome to Atlanta. Tell us why you're here and what you're doing and what you hope to accomplish while you're visiting this great city.
Sure. So, of course, came to celebrate with the outgoing president of Delta Sigma Theta. They are conducting their 55th national convention. It is customary that the national presidents, if they are available, to come and bring greetings on behalf of their national organizations to that particular D9 organization that's having their national convention. This one, of course, is very special because Beverly Smith, who is the outgoing president, who has been just a great supporter, but also just a true leader among the D9 presidents. And so had to come to honor her and to say thank you to her for her leadership on the Council of Presidents, which is what we call the D9 when all the presidents get together, and then just her engagement just nationally with Delta Sigma Theta. So was here for that. Got an opportunity to spend some time with the brothers in the area, engaging with them. Some of the brothers at Morehouse. We had a new line of brothers who came in. And so
congratulations.
I went to their new member presentation show. So of course, when the national president shows up, it's a different kind of energy.
Different vibe.
It's a different vibe, but it was really good to see those young men and to just see the continued energy of the brotherhood. Then, of course, the state leadership who took care of me while I was here. Had a chance to see one of our past presidents, William Stanley, who lives here in the Atlanta area. So, it was good. It's been a good trip.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Divine Nine unity and your ability to support one another. Obviously, what we are dealing with now at this moment in history makes our organizations, these D9 organizations, more important than ever, especially when it comes to leadership. Could you talk a little bit more about where you all see this unified effort as we continue to try to make our communities safer, number one, but number two, to still fight for equity and inclusion and fairness and opportunity when it comes to corporate America. We know these organizations specialize in nurturing professional talent.
That's right. So let me first say, it is an honor and a privilege to sit with these leaders. We understand what our role is in the tapestry of this nation, and how we have to make sure that the opportunities that have been given to us and using those opportunities to move the needle for our community. We recognize that if we don't do it, who will? Of course, we're a college educated population of the Black and Brown community. And so with that comes a level of responsibility. And so working with these current, my other 8 counterparts has been, and of course I'm new to the role as national president, been in a little over 100 days now, but in the time period that we've been together, the engagement that I've had with them has been very focused on how do we continue to get access for our members, how do we make sure, and that's from the top down, as we've engaged the White House, met with the Vice President of the United States, talked about the support of that administration for our community. What policies do they have that they feel has really moved the needle for us? How do they get that information to us so that we can cascade that down to our members so that they can get access to the resources at the various departments that's helping our community? We recognize where our role is and as it relates to voting rights in this country, that we have to continue to push the needle, whether it's getting people to the polls, whether it's making sure that when there are laws that are being passed, that we are standing up and saying that this is unfair. How do we loan our voices to the challenges and issues that are out there? Phi Beta Sigma, of course, put out a statement yesterday after the Rittenhouse case, again, expressing our disappointment, but also sharing with our members and the rest of the world that we will not allow this one case to define us as not only just the struggles that we have, but our continued engagement in laying the groundwork for equality and justice in this country.
Absolutely. And when you talk about these verdicts, of course, we've got the Rittenhouse verdict now, an Aubrey verdict, Ahmaud Aubrey, the victim of a heinous crime over on the East Coast of Georgia. These verdicts are taking a real toll on our psyche. And I say that because I spoke to a psychologist who spoke to the fact that, we are still continuing to be traumatized. Yeah. Although the victims in Kenosha were white, they were supporting an African-American cause and freedom and equity for African Americans. So, how do you view your leadership in terms of helping us move past that trauma? How do you see your role in helping us push forward, even when it doesn't feel like we're getting a fair shake? Because, your parents dealt with it, my parents dealt with it, and generations before. And we want to get to the point where generations after us don't have to deal with it.
Well, I think you have to be absolutely honest with yourself that ignorance continues to abound. Right. And so we just have a responsibility in each one of our generations to advance the ball. There was a time where we were shackled in boats. There was a time where we were sold on posts and blocks. There were times when we were in the fields, and eventually we went from not being recognized as men to being three-fourths of a person to eventually becoming a whole person. And so the struggle continues. And I think that as a leader, you should not enter into this business thinking that it is going to end with you, right? You enter into this business understanding that you have a responsibility to advance the ball in the time in history that you are in. How are you going to leave this better than how you found it? That's it. In the utopia of it all, would we like to say it will end here? Absolutely. But when you see that ignorance continues to abound in each generation, as we make progress, they too are making progress in making sure that they stunt our engagement. And so, but here we are today, two college-educated men who 200 years ago would probably not have the opportunity to be sitting here with ties on, talking about how we're going to advance the ball. So that means that there's a lot of work that happened long before us. There's going to be a lot of work that's going to happen after us. So just understand your place in history and what your role and responsibility is, which is to use the platforms that you've been given to make sure that we leave it better for the next generation. That's it. And I think that gives me a sense of peace. It takes a lot of pressure off of your shoulders, thinking that it has to be accomplished now. It doesn't. I just know that I am the president of Phi Beta Sigma. We are a historically Black fraternity that has been around for over 107 years. We have been advancing the ball for 107 years, and my job is to make sure that I leave it for the next president, who will leave it for the next president to continue to advance the ball.
Absolutely. You talked a little bit about the new members that were initiated at Morehouse while you were here. Tell me a little bit about the impact you hope to have on them as a former mayor, the youngest ever in that city's history, as an attorney, as the president of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Those are incredible accomplishments, but what do you hope that your example sets for your new members and, men on campus of East Carolina University who may be looking for a role model?
Right. So, it's always about what is possible, right? We go through life, and especially as men of color, we know the barriers that are out there. But I hope that, when it's all said and done and they write the roles about me, that it will say that I first recognized the talents that God gave me, right? Um, and the talents that I recognized, I use to the best of my ability. Each and every one of us has something different, and I embrace what He gave me, and I use it to the best of my ability. And I'm going to try to use it all until I can't use it no more. And so that's the message that I always try to say to young men: is first and foremost, don't look at another man and what he got, what talents he got.
Right.
Look at the talents you got, right? I've been blessed to be able to do X, Y, and Z. You can actually do something I can't do. Once you recognize your gifts, once you recognize your talents, then use them. Use them to not only advance you and your family, but advance your community. Because, as I always say, the gifts and the degrees that we've gotten in our life, they're not for us. They're really for the world. And so, as long as you wake up every day understanding that, and I really do, I fundamentally believe that the talents that have been given to me is for me to make a difference in the lives of other people. Because when it's all said and done, you know, we all got to take this journey of leaving this place. And so why not just use what you got to make things better? And so that's the message that I've always been trying to share with young men, is that you don't look at somebody else, look at what you got, and then you use what you have to make it better for somebody else. That's my message, always has been, and using the potential of what you have, to really, change lives and improve the lives of others.
Wow. Wow. Mr. Ray, what a pleasure.